Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. For the next hour, you'll hear proven methods for how to live the multiple income streams dream. Ryan is passionate about helping others discover their gifts and start their own business. He's published 5 books, and his courses and group coaching programs have changed the lives of thousands of students all over the world. Ryan's books include Private Label, The Easy Way, Finding Your Grace Place, and his latest, Streams of Income. And now, here's your host, Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger. Today we're chatting with my good friend and returning guest, Jimmy Smith. Kind of have a feeling he's going to be even more of a regular on this show as he brings some e-commerce, Amazon type news to this show going forward. And so today we talked about some news with Amazon, their small and light program. We talked about the Legends Group, how important community is. We talked about multiple streams of income at length, about how Jimmy created multiple streams of income. He says he has 17 different streams of income. It's crazy how that came about. We talked about some of the failures that he's had, quote, failures, not real failures, just where you've tried things that didn't work out or they've morphed into other things. And so this is a really good episode. Jimmy and I have never talked about some of this stuff. It was just really fascinating. So here's my episode with Jimmy. Jimmy, welcome back, man.
Hey, Ryan, excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, so before we hit record, I just had an idea, and hopefully, I think it's a good idea. Hopefully we'll, if people want to let me know if they like this idea or not, but because like a lot of the last several episodes have been outside of e-commerce related, I still want to talk about e-commerce, even though you bought the Legends Group and that's where I was pointing people to. I know that a lot of my audience are e-commerce sellers, and I was just telling you before we hit record that I've had less and less of those types of topics, where if you look at my earlier episodes, it's a heavy focus on e-commerce. I don't want to abandon that because that's a great way to make money online. I've been wanting to diversify, but I don't want to abandon the foundation. So thought about having you on regularly. I don't know what that means, whether it's, once every 2 months or depending on whenever Amazon comes out with updates for you to come on and let us know what's going on. But, you said Amazon has a big update. You want to talk about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And before we do, I love the idea. I'm excited to do more of that from updates and whatnot. As you said too, e-com is so many different things for different streams of income. There's at least 10 or 15 of them that I could probably list off right now. And I know that because I did a presentation the other day with 12 of them that I put down within 5 minutes. So yeah, so much that you can do with e-commerce, and I'm excited to help kind of be that voice whenever needed. But yes, Amazon did have a big update recently. So for anybody listening that sells on Amazon, they actually got rid or are going to be getting rid of the small and light program. So that, I believe the date is August 19th. It might be August 29th now that I didn't get a chance to look it up before this. But it's one of those 2 dates. You should have gotten a notification. I think it's August 29th. But the small and light program is going away, and the new low-priced FBA program is coming in on that date. You can actually go and see the differences in fees on Amazon's Seller Central. I've done a YouTube video on my channel at Ask Jimmy Smith about the differences in fees. But really what this means is for anybody that is using the small and light program, everything below $10 will then be converted to the low price FBA program. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the small and light program, your fees are actually going to go up, unfortunately, for anything that's under $10. If you were never in the small and light program, you're going to save some money for anything under $10 because it'll automatically get enrolled to low-priced FBA. The real big problem, though, Ryan, is that anybody that was in small and light between $10.01 and $12, which was the max, now we're going to standard rates. So they're not just going up to a little bit of a higher price. They're going up to much higher price. And then on top of that, Q4 rates are coming up right around the corner for those products, where the low price FBA products, anything under 10, is immune from any Q4 increases this year. So there's a lot of potential issues for anybody that does sell things under $12 or use the small and light program before.
Do you think Amazon thinks through all that stuff, or was that just kind of one of those black holes, or like a thing, like they didn't think about the ripple effects of all of that, like when they make a change?
I'm sure they probably thought through it. I I'd love to say that they probably didn't, but I do think that they do think through the ripple effects, and they probably just don't care to a certain extent. They look at their bottom line. They look at how many products are probably enrolled and how many products are $10 or less that aren't enrolled. So how it's going to help them. But what it also does is it gets rid of the sometimes slower fulfillment rate or methods for the small and light program. So that will be going away. The low price FBA will be back in the 2-day Prime window, as long as Amazon can always fulfill that. But small and light was always like 4 or 5 days fulfillment. And so I think that that was just, logistically difficult for Amazon at times. I don't know if they really run it all the numbers, but they kind of have to, I would assume, unless somebody just makes the switch because they had a headache that day and they just felt like doing it. But I would hope that they run the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, it's an amazing place. We've seen so many people, including yourself and me, make a full-time income from Amazon. So it's one of those situations. I feel like it's like, if you're an e-commerce seller, you kind of need to be on there. But also some of the decisions they make is very frustrating, and you constantly having to pivot and, but you don't want to ignore them. You want to be on there. You want to take advantage of the buyers they have on there. So.
Right. Well, and it's an interesting thing because I'm sure they have some sort of model for, let's say that how many sellers are using small and light versus how many aren't. And if there's more that aren't, and they can get somebody to price their products from $10.50 down to $10 because now they're in the low price program and there's no need to enroll or unenroll products into a small and light thing. It kind of reduces that barrier to entry and opens it up to every seller versus the ones that are paying attention to small and light. But it does hurt those small and light sellers quite a bit. The good news, though, out of all of it, anytime Amazon makes a change, it will affect everyone. And so, some products might go away, but you might see other products start raising in prices because now they can't be in the small and light program. And you may be able to make a little bit more money from it, as will Amazon. But it will ebb and flow. I think when this drops, so to speak, in August, it will cause kind of a ripple effect for a few months into Q4. And then after Q4, people will be used to it and there'll be more changes to complain about or to weather the storm,
Our good buddy, Jim Cockrum, always is good at seeing the positive side of things. I think one thing with Amazon is it makes you can't be comfortable. Like you got to constantly be able to shift. Can you talk about that for a second? Because it's like, I can imagine somebody who's just doing this just solely as a side hustle and not like serious about making this a business. It'd be very easy to get so frustrated and just quit. But I'm sure there's people though that, like in our Legends group that stick around. Those are folks that like, you just learn how to weather those storms and make changes because you have to in business, whether it may not be Amazon. It may be something else that causes a situation that's frustrating that you have to learn how to, hey, if I want to stay in business, I got to make a change. I can't just do things as I've always done them and continue to be successful.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, you have to be positive in any business, not let alone e-commerce and Amazon. The reality is this is Amazon's business. We are leveraging their platform. They bring all the customers to us. There's a lot of positives to selling on Amazon or third-party marketplaces. The one constant, as you'll hear in any of the communities, whether it's Jim Cockrum or any other Amazon community, is the constant is that there's always going to be change with Amazon. And the people that have been in Legends the longest, the people that have been selling on Amazon the longest, are the ones that take those issues that come up and roll with the punches, so to speak, and adjust their business. I probably can't even count how many times Amazon made a change that affected my business in a decent way, especially over the last few years. But if you continue to roll with those and adjust, you're going to be much better off for it. If you quit and you blame Amazon, that's not Amazon's fault. Yes, they may have made it difficult, or they may have thrown a wrench into your plans, but you're the one deciding to quit and to give up on it. That's kind of the mindset I look at it. And that applies too with personal issues that come up. You might have as you said, Ryan, a difficult situation happening in your personal life that you have to weather that storm as well. And you may not be able to control it, but you can control the actions you take moving forward after that thing happens. And that's why this podcast is so important. The Legends community and other communities are so important because you want to build streams of income. You want to have Amazon. For those of you that are on Amazon, you want to have that as your base, scale it and outsource it, and then move to other things from there, one thing at a time. And you know, I did a presentation, Ryan, at the Proven Conference this past week. It's before this recording, and it was on a little bit of streams of income. And I've got currently 17 by my count.
Wow.
And I've gone through 16 others that didn't work. You have to be okay with things not working, right?
Yes.
And, it's just about doing one at a time, and over time you start to build up more. So, hopefully that's an encouragement. Ryan, we both started with one at one point.
Absolutely.
You know? So anyway, I've been on my
no, that's good. I didn't expect we go this direction, but it's so perfect because it's as an entrepreneur, it may not be Amazon that throws the monkey wrench. It may be a personal situation. It may be an employee that quits. It may be your fulfillment center doubles their fees, and you're like, oh man, now how am I going to be profitable on half of my ASINs? And you got to figure it out. And that's where the community is huge. Like having a group like the Legends group where you can come in and kind of vent and complain. It's like, guys, like I need your help. What's going on? I need to, and having those people come alongside you and let you know it's okay. We're here for you. We're here to help you think through this and figure out what the next steps are. So,
right. And Ryan,
don't do this alone.
Exactly. I know that there are people in the community that probably look at you or myself or leaders in the communities that we serve, and they think that everything goes perfectly for us, but it doesn't. I mean, we have some major difficulties that come up, and we have to deal with those too. And it's not easy, but the ones that are able to push through those and continue to do the activities every day that they need to do, and to know when they have to take a day or two off, those are the ones that'll succeed because they're making the forward progress in their business, also listening to their mental state as well, because you can go a little crazy. But there's a lot of opportunity out there if you continue to put in the right work, you continue to surround yourself with the right people, and push yourself when you need to make changes and adjustments.
That's awesome. You just said something I don't want to gloss over. 17 different streams of income. Can we talk about what some of those are? And I mean, we don't talk about the amounts, but like, how did you go from, what was your first one? What was your second one? And then how'd you go from 1, 2, or 3 to 17?
Yeah. So I think we've talked about one thing. I don't know if it's on a podcast or on a different webinar, but I also call some of them puddles, right? They aren't just streams, but you'll have $5 here or there.
Sure.
But yeah, so one thing that I will say is this has not been a smooth process since December of 2015, whenever I started to sell on Amazon. I tried to make the jump from one stream to multiple at one time, and that became a problem. So you really do have to focus on one at a time. And I just want to make that clear. You can't just go from Amazon, you're doing arbitrage, to trying to add 5 other ones. It's just not going to work. You have to outsource and then start to look at adding other things. And typically I recommend adding other things that are low resistance with high potential. So let's say that you're doing Amazon arbitrage first. Well, the next lowest resistance with high potential would be wholesale. That's a separate type of stream of income. It might be on Amazon, but it's still, to me, separate, because you can, if anything happens with your arbitrage business, you've got wholesale accounts and relationships, right? Then you can look at private label. You can look at multiple platforms to add your products to. So I'm just giving that bit of advice. So for me, it was starting in December of 2015 on Amazon. I was working a job, so technically adding Amazon to it would have been a second stream of income. I no longer have a job as of February 2018, so it's been over 5 years at this point that e-commerce has solely provided for me.
Can you ever imagine going back? Getting a job?
No, never. I will be honest though, those difficult things we were talking about, sometimes a difficult thing gets thrown at you and you're like, man, it'd just be so nice to go to a 9 to 5, but after a week I would hate it. It would be nice for 1 week, and then I would just never want to, get up and go to work again. So, yes. But anyway, so yes, right now I've got Amazon. There is obviously the Legends community, as well as some of the other sub communities that fall under that, whether it's eBay or Walmart. There's my YouTube channel. I've got my book, audiobook. I've got Replan Dashboard, a software company that I own. I've got, let's see, oh goodness, I added them up the other day and I don't have the list anymore.
Oh, that's okay.
I've got affiliates that I do, whether it's different software programs or companies that I work with. That adds up to quite a lot each month. So yeah, I mean, those are the main ones right now that I can think of off the top of my head. I have also tried other things like ClickFunnels and drop shipping through Facebook. I've tried proven product partnering. Oh, that is one thing that I actually still currently do, actually. So I do have proven product partnering, but not a ton of it. Which is partnering with brands to help them sell on Amazon, for anyone that doesn't know. And I've done merch. I've done local merch.
Let's talk about some of the ones that, like, because we always talk about like what's gone well. What are some of the things that didn't go so well that you've tried? Because I had an episode called oh gosh, I don't remember what it was about. I just talked about all the quote failures in my business. They weren't really failures. They were just learning experiences for me, but they were business ideas that didn't go right, or I decided not to pursue those for whatever reason. And I had people say that was a great episode because, I learned, that it's not everything goes perfectly well for you, that, you've had struggles too. And so what are some of those things that did not work so well that you've tried?
Well, I've been having a good day so far, Ryan, but let's just go ahead and talk about the failures, but that's okay.
These aren't failures, remember.
Yeah, I know. They're not failures at all. And it really does come down to how you look at it. And I've learned a lot. I've learned tons through the times that things didn't work. So for me, the biggest ones have been in terms of difficult situations have been real estate. I've really, I had 2 rental properties for the longest time and ended up needing to sell those and lost money on those things. That would be one. And even it might have gone well for the first year where I was renting out the properties, but then, a tenant has to leave or they stop paying and then they destroyed the place. And I had to deal with fixing that up.
Did that spoil your whole mindset towards real estate, or do you still have a desire someday to get back into it?
It has definitely affected my mindset towards it in terms of I won't, in the future, if I get into it, I won't have 1 or 2 rental properties. If I invest in something, I would probably want at least 10 doors. So if that's 10 doors in an apartment building or 10 single family homes that I can get all at once in a package, like a business purchase, because that spreads out my risk a lot more. So that's kind of how I look at it. That's not financial advice. It's just how I look at it.
Right.
So yes, that did change how I look at things. So that would be one that was a difficult time. Crypto, honestly, I've done a lot with crypto and I've just not been good at it. People really crush it with crypto. I know that you've done well with crypto. I'm pretty sure, with some of the stuff that you've done, Ryan. And so for me, that has been a difficult thing at times. And so I currently put my money in crypto into a couple investments that I believe are long-term investments. Instead of for me trying to make a stream of income from it, I decide to put it into an investment. So that is one for me that's been difficult. There have been, like I said, drop shipping, like on Facebook with ClickFunnels. That really was a difficult situation where I invested into a program. They did okay. They helped a little bit, but not as much as I would have liked. And then the YouTube or the Facebook ads that kind of went with it, it just all kind of snowballed and became,
But on Facebook Marketplace, there was a, Adam Wilson was at one point was crushing it on Facebook Market. It wasn't drop shipping though, but I wonder, that's something like this is like kind of off the cuff here, or like even some more behind the scenes type of conversation, but it's okay that it's out in the open. I don't know of anybody in our community that's talked much about selling on Facebook Marketplace. I think there's an opportunity for a course in there because I've heard of people that are doing really well in Facebook Marketplace, and you can actually ship all over the country too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I know that there are people that do well with Facebook Marketplace.
It wasn't drop shipping, and it wasn't that program you're talking about. These are people that are just selling. They have replens that they're selling on, or they have a private label that they're selling on Facebook Market.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I only hear Facebook Marketplace talked about for like returns and just like as a little thing, almost as an addition to your Amazon business. But there's definitely opportunity there, as you mentioned. For me, the drop shipping thing was actually building a brand, trying to build a brand through drop shipping and funnels, which just kind of failed. It's not a bad model. It just didn't work for me. let's see, there's other ones. I did try to do local merch for a while, which is creating, using your Amazon merch account and partnering with businesses to basically create a coupon through the shirt, and you can sell that service. And that's a whole other episode if people wanted to get into it. It just took too much legwork for me. It was too much of me knocking on doors. And I was like, I'm not going to keep doing this. I didn't have the time.
Right. And again, that wasn't a failure. That just, you decided that wasn't right fit for you.
Yeah. Let's see, what else have I done? Some private label products that went really well ended up, stopping either due to supply chain issues or due to I guess that would be a supply chain issue where the initial manufacturer was good and they had the mold for the product, but then the next batch was awful and it was hard for quality control. So that would be one that I would consider a failure, but you had to place thousands of orders or 1,000-unit order overseas at the time, and it just didn't work out. Man, I could list out a whole bunch
these
more
are good
probably if I sat down.
No, it's all good.
For a podcast, I don't want the downtime, the air, the dead air, so to speak.
Oh, it's all good, man.
Let's see. I've done other things. Like I did a biblical business leaders mastermind that was actually successful. And there was a few people, and it still continued to be a network mastermind that I get into regularly, now with the people that went through it with me. But I just decided I didn't want to continue to teach or talk about those things for different reasons. I had a podcast. I still have the podcast, Biblical Business Leaders. I just haven't done that in a while. That's never really been a stream of income for me, but it was something that, was an expense, and I still pay for it. I still pay for the
it's hard to focus on something that's not bringing in any money, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was a passion project when I started it. Same with the YouTube channel. I started it more as a passion project than a stream of income, and it turned into one.
That's awesome.
There's goodness. I don't even know. There's other things that I've tried.
You have do you have a list of, like me, a list of ideas somewhere that you've had over the years that you put ideas down?
Oh yeah.
You ever go back and look at some of the old ideas and like laugh at them, or like, oh, that actually is pretty good, I should try that?
Yeah, what's interesting? I have one from probably right around college or right after college, where I put down that I want to be making content, and I had nothing, like no reason for this, that I wanted to help people to build businesses and start streams of income and kind of get away from the typical employee mindset. But I was employed, doing insurance at the time, and I did not have an Amazon business. And it's kind of interesting that like a book and all of these other things kind of actually came to fruition. And I didn't even remember writing it, but I saw that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that.
And now you're living it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But there's more. If you want to ever do a full episode on the things that I have tried, I'm happy to do that. There's other things that I've done too, where I sold life insurance policies and stuff, and that went well. I just run out of time, so that kind of thing. That was kind of a side hustle, so to speak, that I had, where I'd work with people that I knew or business owners, and that fell apart too, just because I ran out of time.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. But like, you're kind of like me. It's like, I have an idea. Let's just try it. And if it doesn't, it's almost like in the Amazon world, you go into a store, you find a product that looks like on Keepa, it's going to work out, and you buy 3 of them and decide, it didn't work out for whatever reason. The price it tanked, or you made a mistake and reading the graph, and now you've got 3 of these products that are in Amazon that you can't sell, and you got to lower the price. Is that a failure? Well, maybe, but you lost $10. Big deal.
Right.
Let's fail fast on these things. Let's try them out.
Yeah, and make sure that they aren't, if you're trying new things, make sure that they can't sink your ship, so to speak, too.
Yes.
If you're taking a risk on something new, don't put everything at it and just risk everything. So
exactly,
try testing small and seeing how it works. Getting ideas.
Random here. Are you on? Do you get a lot of emails from other marketers that like, ooh, that's interesting. Like, I wonder what that business is like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I get a ton of emails.
I get them too, and I'm like, man, I don't want to. It's almost like the squirrel. Like, let's. But I've always thought about this. With using VAs, you could pretend, like, if you think that idea looks cool, I want to try it out, but not me try it out. Let's buy the course for $100, get a VA to try it for 2 months and see if there's anything there. Like, I think with VAs, there's that potential of having them try something to see if it would actually produce something to keep you focused on what you're doing. Like, you just bought a membership community. So this would be the worst time for you to try a whole new other project, but you have access to a group of VAs that would gladly take the work if you have the money to give them. Here's $500, try this out for a month and a half and see if it works. So I've always thought that might be fun to do.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've known for a long time I need like an integrator or somebody that can take the ideas that I have or other people have and kind of install them into the business and test them out. It's just hard to find that perfect person, because you really need someone that likes to do that, but also isn't doing it just for themselves, right? They kind of need the ability to do the integration and implementation of things without also having the drive to run their own business. And if they want to, that's great, but eventually you're going to lose that person. And so it's kind of difficult to find. And because there's a lot of things. I mean, I have a lot of new projects that I have written down that I want to do.
I
just don't have
Are they
time.
related at all to e-commerce and Legends, or are some of them outside of that sphere?
Many of them are related to e-commerce and Legends. I kind of stopped. I know one time we talked about buying businesses and I was looking at a tire shop and all that kind of thing. And I'm not looking outside for new businesses or any weird streams of income. They would all kind of attach to my current things, but they are still new projects with hurdles to overcome and things to learn, and so that's where it becomes a little difficult. And I think that's important for anybody here. If you're trying to build streams of income, you can't do it all at once. So try to get settled on the one that you're working on then, and then start adding in new things from there. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if you can leverage your current things, whatever you're doing, and build off of those, that's best. And Ryan, I learned that from you, and I've kind of followed your leadership, and that's kind of what's worked for me as well, whether it was Amazon to or arbitrage to wholesale to private label to courses to books to all the things that kind of stemmed from knowing Amazon.
That's right. That's awesome. One thing you can think about, I don't know if any of the ideas would be a potential option to partner with an actual Legends member who maybe would like some extra income or something. Maybe I don't know what some of your ideas are. We could brainstorm offline here, but like there are people that probably would love the opportunity to work with you on a project, even though they're like, this may not work. Well, let's try it for 2 months. Let's give it a good go. And some of them maybe work almost like on commission only, just to have the opportunity maybe to get some coaching from you for their business or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. That's something that it's also difficult for me sometimes. If you get in your lane and you're like looking at the thing that you need to fix and you're just working on that, you kind of forget about the outside of it all sometimes. And that's a good way to go about doing it. Reach out to the network to see if they can help.
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah. Cool. Well, what else? I love that you said low resistance, high potential. That was really, really good.
Thank you.
Helping you think through with all the potential ways to make money online. You already got something going on. You want to add something else on. And you got a list of potential ideas. Which one are the low resistance, high potential? Is it easier for you to look at those and kind of filter them out based on that?
Yeah. And I think that's where your strategy of taking what you have, one stream of income and adding just a natural progression from there, whether it's arbitrage to wholesale or it's, you have a YouTube channel and starting a course, right? Those things are low resistance to me and high potential. And looking at your time, right? I'm not going to go out and start a restaurant. I don't care how much somebody likes to cook, or if someone, like, I'm not going to do that. It's high resistance, potentially high potential, but very high resistance. Whereas for me now, I could add, I could write another book. That'd be some resistance, but it's also got some potential, but I've done it before. And if the book made sense with e-commerce, that could be a natural progression. Anybody that has an Amazon business and they love the prep and ship, well, maybe adding a prep center to your operations will help you to expand your revenue and your profits. And you already have the team, right? That's pretty low. You've got everything there. You just need to create the service and charge for it. So I think those are the things that you want to look at. If you're doing a bunch on Amazon, well, look at just doing your listings on Walmart, or look at how you can integrate eBay or Shopify, or there's new platforms out there like Rivoli and stuff like that I'm interested in, that are pretty easy to get attached to.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Rivoli. That the guy that I met the guy at Proven Conference last year. Is that now happening?
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually have an affiliate link for it.
Yeah,
But
let's
if you
talk
do,
about
Ryan,
that.
I'll let you share that.
Is it Rivoli? Well, let's use your
If you've
link.
got one, I'll let you share
Oh,
it.
I don't have a link. Let's use yours.
Okay. Okay. So it's at askjimmysmith.com/Rivly, Rivly, Rivly. And so basically, Rivly is a really cool platform that is coming out this year. They're going to actually they're beta testing customers and I guess buyers. They're trying to get a bunch of new sellers. And in under 15 minutes, you can set up all of your products from Amazon onto Rivly as a platform.
Wow.
They work with US sellers only, though.
Wow.
The products don't need to be from the US, but the sellers do. And they give commissions they give cash back to buyers. I believe it's between 6 to 8% at this point. They kind of gamify the purchasing process. They also do donations to nonprofits if you purchase through there, and they have low fees on their platform. And it's a really cool platform with a lot of money behind it, a lot of cool players behind it to get it out there and kind of compete against Amazon. But it will, in under 15 minutes, pull over 10 products or 10,000 products, right? And so it's very, very simple, no cost until you sell your first one, and then it's based off of a lower percentage than what Amazon takes, and they can even work with multi-channel fulfillment with Amazon. But
so where do they go? I'm on their site right now. It looks like okay, so it looks like there might be a wait list as a buyer.
As a buyer, there are. So they're going to try, whenever I talk to them at the Proven Conference, they're going to be looking to launch the buyers right around Q4, right before Q4.
Oh, nice.
So now is the time for sellers to get in early when there are also no restrictions, I don't believe, like there would be on Amazon for brands and stuff like that. And it's a new platform. So realize, there is some hiccups that could happen, I'm assuming, since it's brand new. However, it is very simple to set up and use. So that is a low resistance with high potential. Because if the newer sellers that get on there, maybe they bring a bunch of buyers and you're able to sell a bunch because there's less sellers to compete with. So for now, it's an easy addition to an Amazon business or a Walmart business or whatever, because you can set it up.
Is it okay if you're an arbitrage seller?
Oh yeah.
That's
they
awesome.
love same with Amazon. Both of them love arbitrage sellers, whether Amazon will admit it or not. They do, because we add a bunch of products that would never be on the platform otherwise, or at least wouldn't for a while. And it gives let's say for Rivoli, for instance, or newer platforms, if you've got somebody that's selling, toothpaste and mints and all these things that are big brands, but the big brands aren't on the platform themselves, well, then you've got a bunch more things that somebody as a customer comes in and looks for and is able to find and buy. So,
That's good. That's awesome. I've never talked about Rivoli. I totally forgot about that until you mentioned it. So that's good stuff.
And I'm going to be doing some training with them.
Nice.
In the future. So creating some videos for people if needed anyway. So that's kind of how we've discussed it, is to make some videos for them. But they do have very good
Rivoli Course.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Maybe, you never know about that, but it could be if we start to see some success once they launch it to the mass amount of buyers. They've run a bunch of tests with social media as well in terms of for buyers, and they saw some really good results for that. And so I'm excited for what the platform could become, realizing also it is brand new, and a lot of people have tried to take on Amazon, and it's a difficult road, but it is got some good potential, I think.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'll put that link in the show notes. askjimmy.smith.com/Rivoli, Rivly.
Yep.
Cool. Jim, anything else?
No, I don't think so. From a streams of income perspective, I think that if you are selling on Amazon or doing anything with e-commerce, just start working on outsourcing things slowly and profitably, if at all possible. That's how you want to do it. And from there, once you outsource, really, you just want to start buying your time back. And once you have more time, you can add higher value things to your business. So, awesome. I'm excited for what's ahead for the Legends community. I'm excited for everything that we've got at the end of 2023 and into 2024. There's some really cool announcements that I'm sure we'll talk about at some point.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back on to talk about those.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm serious. Anytime Amazon, like if you think, hey, Amazon just came out with some big news, and people need to know about it, just hit me up, and we'll schedule an episode.
Awesome.
Even if it needs to be, I've never done this, even if it needs to be like a bonus episode, like super timely, like it just came out today, and I've already got the episode set for Friday, but it needs to go out quickly. We could do something like a bonus episode or something, or even just a bonus recording that we do.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Happy to do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been listening to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. From right here in the Dallas Metroplex, Ryan teaches several entrepreneurial courses and group coaching programs to students all over the world. Be sure to listen next week at the same time for Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger.